Hello, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to this webinar where we will discuss the digitization in trade finance and the way forward. My name is Sameh Magdi. I'm a Senior Business Development Executive in the Quwain Free Trade Zone Authority, which is the UAQFTZ. The UAQFTZ offers a great working environment in the perfect location at very affordable rates, where you can both work and live. We extend our warm welcome to share our success by establishing a company in the UAQFTZ and enjoy the highest quality of services and incentives. The UAQFTZ is the free zone of the future where progressive companies, regardless of the sector in which they operate, can enjoy doing business in a safe, secure, and prosperous environment. Situated close to the UAE's primary seaports and within 40 minutes drive from Dubai International Airport and Sharjah International Airport, UAQFTZ is the perfect location to set up any business within easy access to the rest of the world. The UAQFTZ offers flexibility and ease of doing business, customer-friendly approach, investor-friendly climate, excellent growth opportunities, cost-effective leasing options for office space and warehousing. Now for a brief introduction to 360TF, leveraged on the strong foundation and grasp of Nimai Group in the industry. 360TF have built a robust online marketplace which will help customers and banks across the globe find each other instantly and connect digitally, enabling best deals for trade flows. 360TF endeavor is to support every exporter in meeting their trade financing requirements and support in expanding their business to 190 countries. With a seamless access to a digitized one-stop marketplace, 360TF wish to reach out and assist the members of UAQFTZ in their vision and mission to expand their trade and reach out across the globe. Today, our guest is Mr. Pankaj Mundra, co-founder and managing partner of 360TF Nimai. He will shed the light on 360TF's scope of business and services that can facilitate trade finance for the UAQFTZ clients that definitely has a positive effect on the UAE business climate. Welcome, Mr. Pankaj.
Thank you, Mr. Shame. Shukran. It's a great opportunity to speak and interact with the clients from Quwain, from UAQ Free Trade Zone. It was very interesting when I visited and met Mr. Johnson almost a month back in person in Quwain and visited your new offices and free zone offices. Quite impressive. We've been going to Quwain for long for our various other clients. But yeah, this was interesting. And as we discussed, and I'm glad that UAQ Free Zone, Free Trade Zone could put this together very fast before we embark our new journey or new, into 2023. So, so thank you once again for this opportunity.
Thank you.
And we, as you mentioned, and as you gave the background, yes. So just to give very quick, for the interest of the guest today, that I'm a chartered accountant in UAE for the last 18 years. I started my career with banks like ICICI and Standard Chartered in India, and then joined the ABN AMRO Bank, Bank Hollandy, in 2004. And the last, I was the head of finance for Mashreq Bank for the international operations in 2007 and 8. Now, what I have seen, friends, over the years and while working with Mashreq Bank, then when an exporter in UAE gets a new order from a new market, be it Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Nigeria, Ghana, Cambodia, Indonesia, Vietnam, Malaysia, and so on and so forth. And if you don't have that trust and relationship with that existing buyer from that country, you sometimes take that order or sometimes you don't take that order, right? Sometimes you miss that opportunity or you say you want to grab that opportunity. And we saw that for UA exporter that in these market, unless you get advance payment, you don't, you know, get to grab that opportunity. But me as a buyer in Kenya or me as a buyer in Bangladesh, I don't want to give that advance payment because I have the similar thing that can I trust the supplier in
Right.
UAE? Yeah. And to mitigate this and to create that trust between the buyer and seller, we all know there's something called letter of credit.
Right. Yeah.
And that's how the letter of credit comes into play, where the buyer from Kenya will say, I want to buy from you from UAE or I want to buy from Quwain Free Zone company, but I can give a letter of credit from INM Bank Kenya
Mm.
or a Paramount Bank Kenya or a CRDB Bank Tanzania,
Yeah.
okay, or a DFC Bank Uganda or a Bangladesh Bank and so on and so forth. So when that all came in, who handle or who take a around risk on these uh, banks and institutions. So now you require a larger bank in UAE who can take a exposure on the small bank in Kenya, in Tanzania, in Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka. And this is how we perceive this. And I started this boutique trade finance advisory firm with my partners in 2010, where we will identify the larger banks across the globe who have a risk appetite on these markets and which will enable the trade flow and trade between UAE and all these countries. So this is how Nimai was born 10 years back, which
Yeah.
is our holding company. And then, of course, we did a fantastic job. We were Dubai SME 100 company. We could add value to a lot of exporters across the globe. Okay. Uh,
I think you're muted.
So, and this is how the whole thing started. And recently, as early as post pandemic, we have digitized the whole process now. We have digitized the whole process of what I've just spoken about, and how we can facilitate export from UAE to other market. The whole process got digitized,
Mhm.
so I will say it got Uberized or it got Amazonized in the way Amazon or Uber work,
Yeah.
and the whole thing has been there on 360 TFR. So this is just a very brief to start with, but maybe I will put the presentation. Himakshi, can you share on the screen? And then we take us to our guest today on a few key slides
Right.
that how we can add value to customers of Coin Free Zone or export fraternity in large.
Good. Good. Great. Okay. Yeah. I can see it. Thank you, man.
Thanks, Ame.
No
Thanks,
problem.
Himak.
Problems.
So, so taking this forward, that this is how a journey we created. That what the digital journey of 360 TF. So first of all, thank you once again, and we remain grateful for this opportunity to present this to the guest of Umulquen Free Zone. Thanks to Umulquen Free Zone to give us this opportunity, and thanks to the Almighty to make this happen, and we all of us are together, and part of this beautiful country, UAE, Dubai, Umulquen, for where we have tons of opportunity to connect with the world across the globe. So just to give you a perspective that what is global trade is all about. So give a perspective, the global trade between countries last year, of course, after the increase in the freight cost, was close to $28.5 trillion. Okay, so the global trade last year was $28.5 trillion between various countries across the globe. Now, there's something very interesting which is being termed this trade. into two categories. One is called trade under letter of credit, which is close to $4 trillion, and the remaining is called open account, where there's a trust between a buyer and seller. You don't open a letter of credit, but you sell the goods on a credit without asking for a LC, is called open account. Okay, so that is called the trade. So the trade under open account, so around 24 trillion dollars is open account, and close to $4.5 trillion under letter of credit. And interestingly, so the average mix is, if you can say, around 15% of the trade move under letter of credit, and 85% of the trade is under open account. So that's where how the global trade matrix looks like. So who are the UAE key trade partners? Of course, we export majorly to Saudi, followed by India, Iraq, and so on. Now, if you see this graph, that when you're exporting from UAE, of course, if you see the other country like Bangladesh or Kenya or Tanzania, at a country level, they may be less than $5 billion. But when a UAE exporter is exporting to Iraq, of course, mainly majorly from oil and gas, India or Oman or Kuwait, and so forth, you always have a risk on certain countries where you want to mitigate that risk under letter of credit. When it comes to import, when we are importing into here in UAE, of course, China is our major trade partner. Of course, again, followed by India, US, and so on and so forth. So on the import side, when the exporter is exporting to UAE, he will be looking for a letter of credit from the importer, and when you are exporting, you will be looking for a letter of credit. So this is just to give you a perspective who are our major trade partner. So how the value chain look like, in terms of uh, what happens. So you start very simply from a customer. You create a goods, you buy goods, produce goods, sell it against cash or credit under LC, and now the whole supply chain comes in, that you require a financing to finance your working capital, right? So be it inventory management, or how do you do a bill discounting if it's not under LC? Who gives you working capital? How do you risk management? Which country you're selling? Which buyer you can sell under credit, buyer you can sell without LC, and so on and so forth. So this is a very quick brief. What does the value chain look like in the whole trade flow? Who are the internal counterparties, and who are the external counterparty, or the fact which can impact your trade flow and working capital cycle? Yeah. This is very quickly on the cross border. You're buyer, seller, importer bank, exporter bank. You deal with the banks. You exchange payment through SWIFT, of course. So this trade again could be under open account, or again. So suppose if you're exporting a textile to Zara or Mark and Spencer or JCPenney, it will be under open account. Or if you're selling to somebody in Bangladesh and Kenya, it will be under letter of credit. Yeah. Now, very important, that was a risk in trade finance, right? If you are a you know exporter, you could have a dishonest buyer. He say, "Oh, I will release the payment." He don't make you payment on time. He delay the payment. If you are buying and somebody or supplier have committed to you, I will deliver the goods in 15 days. Goods will come with this quality. Goods arrived late. Goods come with a average or substandard quality, and so on and so forth. Country risk, what is going on right now? With this slide, literally, I have my favorite slide. I made it 10 years back, and nothing have changed. But few things have is reality now: the country risk and the FX risk. Right? Today, you don't have dollars in Pakistan. Today, you don't have dollars in Ethiopia, in Bangladesh, and this is what is going on. Some country you have a civil unrest. Some country they have intent to pay you, but they don't have a dollar. So this is what right now majority of the countries are going on. Yeah. And of course, you always have market risk on the product. So now, how do you mitigate this risk? If uh, you know uh, you have a FX issue, you have an issue of a dishonest bias, and how do you mitigate? So of course, when you dealing with a first-time buyer, you of course go through a credit report, GCR report GCR credit report in Africa, or a CRISIL, or a ICRA report in India, and so on and so forth. Sometimes you ask for advance payment, as we discussed. Sometimes you go for the LC options. You do goods, send again the documents for collection. You take insurance. Now EDBs come forward. Etihad insurance is there. We all know EIC is there. Yeah. So look, you go for an insurance option. So these are the various risk mitigation which we all use over the years to mitigate our risk of payment, or mitigate the risk of default of the buyer, right? Taking it forward, that assuming that we use a LC structure to mitigate the credit risk, the default, and also to optimize the working capital. So this we are talking of post shipment, either uh, an LC structure or letter of credit structure, or a invoice discounting, or a supply chain, which I'm going to discuss in on. But so the our understanding is that because you are based out of Quwain free zone, you're based in UAE, of course your pre-shipment working capital is handled by the local banks here. But when you're exporting to a new market on credit, under LC or under open account, that's where the 360 TF comes in, where we help you mitigate the risk of payment and technically get you money on day one once your bill is accepted to pay after 90 days or 180 days. Yeah. So that's briefly which you're going to talk about on the post shipment. Now, when it comes to letter of credit, you know, that's where the whole process flow work in, and how a letter of credit get issued. So first you sign the sales contract, right? And when the sales contract is done, you get a performer invoice. You go to your bank to issue the LC. So you go to a issuing bank. The bank will issue the LC, a United Arab Bank or a Bank of Sharjah, or Reg Bank. It's the issuing bank who issue the LC. Or for the exporter, there will be some bank who will be advising the LC to the exporter. It could be a Citibank in Singapore, or it could be Barclays in London, who advise the LC to the exporter. And then come the confirming and negotiating bank, who will confirm the letter of credit for a high risk market. It could be Prime Bank Bangladesh LC, which is required, being confirmed by let's say Emirates NBD or a CBD. So these are the counterparties in a typical LC transaction. Of course, we'll share this presentation, Mr. Same, with you, that can be shared with the team. So I'm not going in more detail, because I'm assuming that people who are into export business are familiar with a letter of credit. But what are the types of letter of credit? There is a site LC, and there is a usance LC. We call it UPAS LC. What is UPAS? Usance payable at site, right? So why UPAS LC? Why not a site LC? So originally UPAS LC was structure discovered to get a larger credit period, and it is also a lot of benefit for the importers and the exporters. Now, if I am an exporter, and if I accept to receive a UPAS 6-month LC from the buyer in Kenya or Bangladesh, what are the benefit to me? One, I am giving a credit. Today, likes of Puma, likes of Market Spencer, likes of Decathlon, they all, even a major buyers, looking for a credit period. So you extending that credit to your buyer and negotiate well the sales price. So let's say today, let me say something I will just share with you. In Bangladesh, in Kenya, the local interest rate is more than 10%.
Oh,
Okay, more than 10%. Okay. Now you will surprised to know that how a seller in UAE can help reduce the borrowing cost for an importer in Kenya. Now, if you go to the last slide where they are said increase in the sales price contract, okay, where Imakshi, you can take the slide back, that I, as a uh, you see here, increase in sales contract. So this is very, very creative. How how we can literally increase our sales price, and we all understand that cash price is different from a credit price. So if my cash price is $100, and if I give a 6 month credit to the buyer in Kenya, do you have any idea, Mr. Same, how much extra he will be willing to pay you?
Yeah.
If his interest cost in Kenya is 12% per annum for full year, and if I said instead of you give me advance payment, I give you 6 month credit for $100 transaction. If he is paying 12% interest, will you agree with me that he will willing to pay $6 extra to you for 6 months?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he anyway will pay $6 to his bank because his interest cost is 12%.
Mhm.
That means that your sales price can go from $100 to $106 if you give a credit to a buyer in Kenya.
Mm.
Now the interesting part here is if I take this LC now to RAK Bank or Quwain UAQ Bank, then I have this LC from a Kenyan bank. Can you discount it and give me money upfront? And you will be surprised to know, yes, I can discount this, and the cost is 6% per annum.
Okay.
Our LC is 180 days. So the LC coming from Kenya, when I go to UAE Bank, can be discounted at 6% per annum. That means 3% for 6 months.
Mhm.
So I am charging $6, but my cost of discounting through 360 TF platform is $3. So
Yeah.
not only I'm making profit in the sales price which I was making when I was selling at $100, but now when the price goes from 100 to $106, and my discounting cost to my bank in UAE is $3, I'm making $3 extra profit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm giving extra credit will increase my sales, and by doing this structure, whatever is the arbitrage in the price of the Kenyan market and UAE market, that arbitrage you factor into your sales price, and you make a profit of dollar, $2, $3, depending on the arbitrage.
Yeah.
So this is our value add to the exporter in UAE. We educate them that if you use this structure, not only you make profit in your sales price as your profit margin, even by doing a financial structure,
Mhm.
you can increase your sales as well as create an extra discount for yourself.
Yeah. You're generating a profit from that. Yeah. Yeah.
Generating a profit. You're generating a profit by just selling in a credit under LC.
Right. Right. Right.
We all understand that you give a extra credit. Let's say, and I'm just giving you say, oh, 1 year renewal, COVID period, you pay me after 2 years
Mhm.
for Uber trade license renewal. But you will say your cash price of renewal is $2,000, but you pay me after 6 months, the price is $2,200. So we all understand this is a ex- simple credit.
Yeah.
But credit under LC gives you arbitrage where you, as a seller, discount in UAE by your bank taking a risk on a Kenyan bank, and you make extra profit.
Mhm.
Yeah. So this is if you are an exporter. But what if you are importer?
Mm.
You are sitting in UAE and you are importing goods. Okay. Now, interestingly, what we're talking here is the arbitrage between the dollar price and a dirham price. So today, when I go to my bank and I put this slide, which will come later, we will ask my colleague to put the slide of all the banks in UAE. So they, we all know the banks in UAE, FAB Bank or Bank of Sharjah or Umal Bank and so on and so forth, right?
Yeah.
Now, what happened today? I have my working capital, which I have taken from the local bank in UAE. It could be any bank,
Mm.
and that working capital could be trust receipt, overdraft, and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Mhm.
So this is costing me anything between 6 to 8%. So this is just a simple list of banks from
Yeah.
UAE. Okay. So I go to any of these banks. and take a working capital facility, overdraft, anything, and it gives me a that costs me 6 to 8%. Okay, it could be large company, maybe 4 to 5%. I'm taking our average cost for a SME. Now, you remember my example, Mr. Same, of 12% in Kenya?
Mhm.
So there we give an example that the interest cost in Kenya is 12%. The discounting cost of the LC of that Kenyan bank was 6%.
Yeah.
So that is the arbitrage. Interestingly, the average borrowing cost in UAE is say 8% or 7%.
Mhm.
The discounting cost of the UAE LC is around 3.5%.
Yeah.
Now, what does this mean? That if you opening a LC from a local bank in UAE, so instead of you taking your overdraft or you taking a trust receipt, you go to your local bank in UAE that I need a letter of credit facility instead of cash overdraft or a trust receipt, where my supplier in China, in India, he wants LC structure, so which we will make them comfortable. So now he opens a LC from NBQ Bank or let's say FAB. Again, this LC which the importers opens from UAE based bank, again that LC for 180 days, our partner bank on the platform will pay to the supplier in China. So I, as an importer in UAE, instead of taking a cash from my bank or as a founder, shareholder of the company, I put my own money in the platform, in the transaction, okay, to fund the particular transaction of the import. I borrow, go to the bank, ask bank to open a LC in my favor. And against that LC, I have a partner bank, could be bank from Singapore, London, Hong Kong, who take a risk on a Emirates NBD LC or Azman Bank LC, make the payment to the supplier in respective country, which reduce my borrowing cost again from 30 to 40%. As I interestingly say, moral of the story is that your country bank knows you well.
Yeah.
You cannot go to JP Morgan in US or a DBS in Singapore or a Maybank in Malaysia to borrow directly in dollars.
Mhm.
You go to your local bank who
Yeah, because
knows
they
you
don't
well.
know you there. Yeah.
They know you. They take a guarantee on you and opens the LC. The foreign bank in US, UK, London, Hong Kong, Singapore, they know these banks better.
Mhm.
So JP Morgan in US knows Emirates NBD better, so they are willing to take a risk on local bank in UAE. And under this structure, the borrowing cost of the UAE importer goes down. So as an exporter, you increase your profit, and as an importer, you reduce your borrowing cost. Both the case, there you increase your revenue, here you reduce your cost, and overall you increase your profit
Mhm. So it's a win-win situation, you can say.
on the both the side. Yeah. So, I already touched upon these, benefits of the what are the exporter import benefits. So just to summarize that as an exporter, when you ask for a LC, you mitigate your risk of payment, you increase your sales price, you go to our partner bank, foreign bank to discount that LC, and overall it reduces your risk as well as increase your profit. As an importer, instead of taking a direct trust receipt loan or an overdraft, you use a LC structure, and by using the LC structure, it reduces your borrowing cost. So that's in broadly which we are talking over here.
Yeah.
I also put this few slides on project finance that a lot of time I understand from Mr. Johnson that a lot of new companies are coming into Malcolm free zone and they want to set up a manufacturing plant,
Yes.
industry, packaging industry, and so on and so forth. So we also have our separate vertical, a separate arm who deal with all the foreign banks for a project financing. So if any of the your customers looking to structure a project finance from $5 million to
Yeah,
50
yeah,
million.
that'll be very interesting. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, we'll be happy to assist, understand the feasibility of the project. We can help them create a feasibility report, which is being generally sought by the banks, and create an interesting structure. We have two type of structure. One structure where, of course, we work with the local bank, and second structure, if the project size is big, Mr.
Yeah,
Sam, $10 million, $20 million, and it could be $200 million also.
right. Yeah, yeah.
We work with a lot of foreign banks who give a capex financing. So your capital machine is coming from China, Germany, Poland, Italy. We can arrange a large, good project financing for 10 years.
After 10 years, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So we need to understand the overall, the dynamics from where they're buying and all, but we can also assist on that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Uh, I'm sure a few of our friends on the call would have heard of factoring, supply chain. This is picking up globally. Everybody is. This is, of course, very simple thing which you used to call in the early days of invoice discounting, where I am supplying to Emirates Airlines a cheese. I'm buying from Australia or New Zealand and supplying cheese to Emirates Airlines or Air Arabia or Fly Dubai. Simple.
Yeah,
Now I get paid by these airlines after 60 days. But there's a bank or a fintech company who take a risk on these airlines and pay you on day one. The moment your cheese goes to these airlines, they accept your invoice and say, I will pay you after 60 days. The financial institution is willing to pay against the risk of an airline and you get your money. So this is called factoring,
right. Yeah,
right? If you see the factoring volumes, the last slide which we just saw, globally, the factory yet to catch up in market like India or UAE and GCC. China is the leading country when it comes to factoring, followed by UK, France, Germany, Italy, and so on and so forth. But if you see, the global volume last year was $3 trillion factoring, where these bills being discounted in respective countries,
yeah,
and led by, of course, China, UK, France, Germany, and Italy. Now you see this blue one is domestic, the orange one is international. What does it mean? Globally, the cross-border factoring yet to pick up. Yeah, cross-border factoring yet to pick up. So total last year factoring amount globally was $3 trillion, of which $2.4 billion was domestic. You supplying to Emirates Airlines. But the moment you supply to Delta in US, that become cross-border.
international.
Yeah, international. So that is close to $600 billion. And so for a UAE exporter, the if we can structure a good factoring facility for the sellers in UAE selling to blue chip companies, which I'm going to talk about, you can discount those bills. So what is, factoring is basically a post shipment structure where either a seller go to a bank, then it is called factoring, or sometimes a buyer go to the bank and it is called reverse factoring. Now, what does it mean? I'm sure you all heard of Zara, JCPenney, Mark and Spencer, Tesco, Target, and so on. So those buyers they go to the bank and they say we have 100 suppliers across the globe, including supply from UAE, Bangladesh, Egypt, Cambodia, Ethiopia, and so on and so forth. So you take a risk on me as a large buyer in US or Europe, and you, based on taking on my risk, pay to the suppliers globally on time, which give them a liquidity to produce more. So when a buyer arranges this facility, it is called reverse factoring. So for example, you're supplying to EDNOC or a EPCO or a ENOC in UAE, and EDNOC goes to ADCB and arrange this facility is called reverse factoring. Yeah. So this is just to give a perspective. It's a simple flow, factor coming to purchase deal from the exporter. So in short, the way it happened is the buyer acknowledged the invoice on the platform or in a master agreement as an anchor buyer. All the bills which comes to a bank where I am the buyer, bank make the payment. And in case of the fintech or a technology platform like us, the buyer comes on the platform, he acknowledges to pay after 60 days. Based on his acknowledgement, I pay to the supplier.
Right.
There are two types of structure. One is a master agreement where I don't require acknowledgement for each invoice. I do it under master agreement. Okay. But in some cases it require acknowledgement invoice by invoice. And now there are a lot of interesting fintech platform which we are also collaborating, where you can take care of the duplication of the invoice. The same invoice is not been discounted by two banks. That is all possible, right? So there are a lot of interesting platforms have come. So this is to give you a perspective that who are these top buyers which we are talking, right? So you're supplying to Nestlé in US, or you're supplying to Choitram in Dubai, you're supplying to Lulu in Dubai, you're supplying to Spinneys, Tesco,
Yeah.
Carrefour. So these, just to give you perspective, these are the buyers against which I can pay you on day one, and I will then, as a company, get my money from Carrefour after 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days. In fact, just on a lighter side, we can create this program for Umalquan government. All supplies to Umalquan free zone or Umalquan government can be created as a reverse factoring structure, where all your government, all your buyers, suppliers of free zone of government, that can be created as a factoring structure, that if I am a supplier to Umalquan government, RK government, Sharjah government, or to the free zone, the factoring company will take a risk on the government and pay to the supplier on day one.
Right. Right. That's interesting.
In fact, that could be part of our MOU. I'm sure Benita have noted this, that we can create that structure for the Umalquan government and Umalquan free zone as well.
Definitely. Definitely, sir. Definitely.
Yeah. So this is a very quick one, that how the whole thing is getting digitized. Maybe I will ask my colleague Benita to take up on this slide, that how what used to happen in past, the process flow, paper, limited access, and what have changed or changing, and how are we going towards the automation. So Benita, as you know, Mr. Same is our head of our global strategic alliances and partnerships globally, where we're tying up with Chamber of Commerce, free zones across the globe, and that's where we are. So Benita, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Pankaj. I'll quickly take you through this. So basically, what's happening is the digitization is no more a word that is being used just for the purpose of it. What we are actually doing is that we're trying to make this thing more meaningful and in each processes. If we talk about the pre-COVID era, where a lot of the processes were actually paper-based, and which would take a lot of time in actually completing the process, is all now getting digitized. The paper-based ones, we've all gone through the COVID era where we kind of faced so many issues in actually getting it transferred from one place to another, is just one of those, one of the tasks that we picked up, and it's getting digitized. How it is happening in this is also that, the entire structure is getting more formalized. And there is a time which has been given, and what we see like an era of what's going to happen in next 4 to 5 years, and how do we digitize not only the financing piece, but also kind of make the entire structure of financing, where we actually connect the buyer and the seller together, is what is taken care by in this one. I think more so it is kind of more explained on the slide. We can take it ahead.
Yeah. Thanks, Benita. So 360 TF, As I mentioned that we started our journey in UAE in 2010 as a founder and an entrepreneur, and we've been doing this value add to our customers across the globe, including UAE for the last 10 years. We were super brand in 2015-16, and we were Dubai SME 100 company. So, and when it came to digitize the whole process, where can I help customers sitting in Coimbatore in South India, or Ludhiana in North India, or somebody in Cairo in Egypt, through this platform, if they can connect to banks sitting in London, Hong Kong, Singapore, and take exposure on a customer in in Kenya or Tanzania or Nigeria or Ghana and so on and so forth. So our vision is, can I bring every LC issuer across the globe on our platform, and they all should get connect with every foreign bank across the globe through this platform digitally. So that's the vision which we, dream which we live every day. And we're fortunate that we have a very good team, and we have come a long way in this journey. And so just to give you a very quick brief about Nimai and 360 TF, we are very, we've dealt with 250 plus global banks. Uh, Out of this 250 banks, Mr. Same, only 112 banks are in UAE,
Oh,
between ADGM, DIFC, and mainland. Close to 140 banks, they are not in UAE, but we have been dealing with them globally over last 10 years.
yeah.
So our 250 banks, and uh, we just stay back on that slide. And then we have seen a volume of $8 billion, close to 30 billion dirham with us in last 10 years. Okay, and we have closed a volume of close to 10 billion dirham, $3 billion of the transaction through us. And so we have very active, we are very active on social media. We do a lot of knowledge sharing, not only today, yesterday was an interesting post that which team have win in FIFA World Cup, and which
Yeah.
bank covered from that country. So our team is very creative, again led by Vinita and my colleague Lakshya, where we create these interesting knowledge sharing post on social media. I'm happy to say we have close to, at a group level, 47,000 followers on LinkedIn. Maybe Himakshi, my colleague, can share in the group. So I want everyone from Quwain Free Zone to follow us and see how we stay connected. What value we can add. Sometime we do a roadshow where we invite the new buyers from these Africa markets, like
Yeah.
which we plan to do also with Coin Free Zone in other countries, be it FDI and getting new customers. So all those also news comes in, knowledge sharing sessions and leadership and so on and so forth. So this is very quick. We are headquartered out of Singapore with the office here in DMCC, and a lovely office in India, in North India, in Jaipur, which we call Royal Capital of India. And we have direct flight from here, and so a lot of the connectivity from here now. So
Yeah.
taking it forward, so that's very quick brief what we've done in last 10 years, and this is our strategic alliances, and from which how we have got also connected with Quwain Free Zone. So we are working with Federation of Indian Exporters, we were working with Kenya Association of Manufacturers, ICC, International Chamber of Commerce, Singapore Chamber of Commerce, World Bank SME Forum, SME Finance Forum. So we are part of IFC World Bank Forum called SME Finance Forum, where we're getting the banks and institutions connecting across the globe, SME connect across the globe through this portal. So these are very interesting alliances which we've done, and now of course we are in process of doing this alliances with free zones like yourself to create that unique strategic partnerships.
Great,
Yeah.
great, great.
Yeah. So this is, now assuming that what this structure which you discussed both on import and export side is being, you know, already been known to our clients, right? Sometimes clients, oh, I know this, I have a best of the smart CFO, I already know everything which you talk about. So we say, okay, fine. You may know the import LC structure, you may know the export. How do we digitize the whole process? So we are a simple, if I have to tell you this very simple, we are a reverse auction bidding marketplace where if you have your existing bank also they can come on the platform, and instead of you sending transaction to them manually, the transaction goes to your partner bank also through platform. So let's say if a customer who have a large operation in Quwain deal with Bank of Sharjah, United Arab Bank, RAG Bank, Emirates NBD, FAB and all, right? But how do you know who is giving you best price? So you come on the platform, instead of you sending an email to them manually, you place the transaction, it, on a click of button, it goes to all the banks.
Right.
So just to give example, let's say I know somebody, one of our friend in the Q&A have written, that they want to set up in Quwain. Now just think of it that there's a platform where I write that inquiry that I want to set up a company in free zone, and it goes to all the free zones,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So something very similar, which is we have created even for your own bank, you create a competition. So you have a bank in India called Yes Bank or ICICI, and you just send this transaction to these two or three banks manually. You put it on platform, it goes to all of them,
Yeah.
and they come and bid. So now there's a competition between the banks. So you automated the process also, and now because of the competition, you're getting a better pricing. So this is, how it helps you versus a traditional process versus a whole automated process. And we help not only for getting a bank or a pricing, we have a team which is led by my colleague, Mr. Mahesh Kashalkar. He was in UAE earlier. We have a very strategic advisor from trade. So drafting LC, how to draft a best of the LC. So that you don't require a lot of amendments and discrepancies, how to draft LC, where you should keep a FX position. We have an expert advisor from Calcutta on FX. So we have these value-added services. So, this is like not only the airline ticket, but whether you need a window seat or you need a first row seat or you want food or beverages, all is available. Which all you want to take to add optimize and make your process efficient. Yeah. So yeah, this is the quickly, and this is so our platform is very very unique. I don't know how we are on time, Mr. Sami. If we have time, we can also display our platform for 2-3 minutes. How it looks like. Is that fine?
Yeah, no problem. No problem, sir.
Yeah. So we'll do that. So. So platform is very, very unique, user friendly for the customers who can literally come in, submit their KYC, and they get comes on the platform and they get access to all the banks globally. While I just do that, I got an interesting question. I know, I think, is there any legal binding on the bank which is agreed to discount the LC, remit the payments and timely remittance? So as per UCP, once banks have already added a confirmation on a letter of credit, then they, of course, they're bound to, make the payment of course, on the maturity. But if it's a verbal email, on a transaction that okay, I want to discount this LC, but because of change in the market, they want to back out. There, of course, you cannot sue them. But if they already added a confirmation on a transaction, or they given you a pricing on their letterhead and agreed terms, okay, this pricing is valid for 7 days, then of course bank has to remain to the commitment. But if it's just uh, so even on our platform, sometimes banks say pricing is valid for 3 days or 7 days. But after 7 days are over, then of course it's gone, right? Then you have to take the pricing again. So this is to quickly tell, we are covering across the globe more than 80 plus countries, high risk countries. But if you see that we're covering majority of all the African markets, all the Asian markets, wherever the LCs are coming. Yes, sometime the high risk market or sanctioned countries, there's issue in the limits availability of the respective banks and the respective country. But then we always work with IFC, ADB closely to see and find out that we can get the additional lines on a particular country where there's a lot of demand on a, like Ethiopia is always in demand these days, right?
Yeah.
Because of the dollar availability and the risk of. But more or less we have done transactions. So we, Mr. I mean, in last 15 months, we have seen transaction from 59 countries.
Uh,
Yeah. So, and literally we have now customer base of 600 and our energetic team sitting out of Jaipur, we are acquiring now almost two corporate per day. And now starting this month, we have a target to acquire three corporates per day.
mhm.
So this is the speed we are going as a fintech that we are acquiring this company. The idea is the more and more customers we have, more and more trade flow we'll have. That's an incentive for the more and more banks to come in
Yeah.
from from Italy or from Japan because they don't want to come for a small one SME, right? But when they see this wholesale, like you go to Russell Core to buy vegetables in wholesale, right? So
Mhm.
you don't go to that supermarket. But this is how the advantage of so we're creating that wholesale trade flows so that every bank of the world have to come.
Yeah.
And literally we cover all the our partner banks cover the all the UAE banks. So whenever you opening LC from a UAE bank, definitely we have all the partner bank to cover. This is just to give a few corporates. In UAE we're working with Reddington, the largest computer supplier, Dabur, Olam, largest commodity company, ETG based in DIFC Export Trading Group, Beximco, the largest company from Bangladesh, Busana from Indonesia, CEG from India, so these are the just out of 600 customers. There are just few of the customers who have been already Meghna Group from our Bangladesh, ENR from Singapore, LDC from Singapore, Switzerland. So these are the companies who are already on our platform, becoming part of this journey to connect with the global banks. Yeah.
Mhm. Great.
Yes, with God grace, we got recognized by various, be it 360 TF, super brand recognition or by Global Banking in France. But the right side down, which you see, is a recent recognition from IFC. They have this program, as I mentioned, SME Finance Forum, where we literally got recognized within a year of what we are creating this for SMEs. Yeah. So this is a great recognition and motivation for all of us. Yeah. So I see a very interesting question again from Mr. Mohammed. We have working capital available in Pakistani banks. Now we intend to trade from UAQ. How we can officially transfer from Pakistan to UAQ company? Did any Pakistani bank is registered in your platform? So yes, this is very interesting. Yes,
Just
we
transferring money from Pakistan might be a little bit like difficult.
Yeah, but as for the LC structure is concerned, we are dealing with. So let's say you have a DCB bank in India. DCB bank is owned by Habib Bank.
Mm.
Habib Bank originally is a Pakistani bank, and Habib Bank subsidiary is DCB Bank in India. But yeah, we're dealing with Alfla, we're dealing with Suneri Bank, we're dealing with Habib is Zurich. So yes, the team can we'll share the coordinate of our team in
Mm.
the Zoom chat, and then they can connect with us for a one-on-one demo call, and then we go in detail that how we can help them for a solution from these countries. So this is our social media journey. I could already see my team is telling that they could already see some guests from Quwain Free Zone today already following our LinkedIn page, which is
Yeah.
very interesting. So this is our as a 360 TF. We already have more than 20. The group level we have 46,000. At a 360 TF platform level we have close to 22,000 plus followers who get to know these various, what is happening, what is seller, who is buyer, what is UCP 600. So all these knowledge sharing happen through social media page. And I'm proud to say that we are the number one trade finance LinkedIn page across competition across the globe. So that's proud that Indian origin company based out of Singapore, UAE, has become world number trade finance page, and we're going at a very fast pace, yeah, on the social media side, yeah. And something very very unique to our team, 360 TF, that we are not only here for business. We believe in sustainability. We believe in CSR. We've been part of Government of Dubai initiative, whether it's Fitness 3030 or blood donation drive and so on and so forth. Uh, you know, like this on this National Day, my one of my team members is going to 11 flag hosting during the day. Okay,
Oh,
so that sort of passion my team have to see and go creative. So this is to share with you. We did recently a very interesting book drive where we collected 6,000 old books
mm,
across UAE from schools from Sharjah, school from Abu Dhabi,
yeah.
and these books are getting shipped to poor children libraries in Kenya.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
So we collected, our target was 2,300 books, but we collected 6,000 books. And so that was one of our CSR initiative. And then as we speak, December is coming, kids will be on holidays.
Yeah.
So we have launched this global art competition where we have a registration from more than 50 schools across 30 countries. So we have school from Malaysia participating. We have children from Kenya participating. We
Yeah.
have children from Bangladesh participating. And this was on the right side. What you see was the last year art competition, which happened in December last year.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So this is just on the CSS side, and we'll be also happy to collaborate on any CSR or ESG drive, environment, social governance initiative for any of the companies in Quwain Free Zone. They want to partner with us on these
Sure.
initiative.
Sure.
More than happy to collaborate.
That's very
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So this is about me, my partner and CEO Vikram Loda. He's based out of India. He's a former head of trade finance of Kotak Mahindra Bank. My partner, Captain Sunil Saraf. So me, Captain Nisar, we are in UAE for almost now 17 to 18 years, and been working on this for last 10 years. Yeah. So this is our team, and then we have board members from Bangladesh, from India. Former chairman of Exim Bank of India is on our board. Former chairman of SWIFT, former chairman of Banking Association of Bangladesh, Mr. Anis Khan from Bangladesh. Mr. Pinaki Roy, our strategic advisor. He is a celebrity of trade finance in India. He's on our. So he also told that whenever UAQ want to go to Calcutta or Kolkata through us, we'll have good people from Kolkata uh, in a one room and want to understand how they can come to Umalquin and set up their free zone shop in Umalquin. Yeah, so we'll fix some time. We are planning to do something around 16th December in Kolkata. But yeah, so this is our team, and you met Benita, you met Himakshi. Himakshi is also there on the call. In fact, she will be visiting after national holiday to meet with my colleague Benita to Umalco Free Zone to your offices, and we take this discussion forward. I will maybe we'll keep a one day open for any of you can send a mailer to your team. If anyone want to do one-on-one, like
Definitely.
our team will be there in your free zone, in your office.
Great. Great.
Okay.
Great. 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 Looking
And
forward for
this
that.
is to, interestingly, as we all celebrate the 51st Independence Day of UAE,
Yeah.
our initial packages which we have, anyone who subscribes to our platform by 5th December get a 51% discount.
Wow. That's great.
So this is especially for our customers in UAE, and as we celebrate the UAE National Day, that whatever rec rates which we have for our customer who subscribe to this by 5th December, they get a 51% discount. Yeah.
Great.
So this is very quickly. I know, of course, we discuss in detail about the journey of 360 TF, and I want to hand over to Himakshi. You want to conclude? Yeah.
Thank you everyone for joining in, and really great to have you all here.
Thank you.
I'm sorry for the noise behind. So thank you everyone once again for joining in. It was really happy to see all of you here. As Pankaj sir mentioned, we're running this offer, and I hope everyone is able to scan and put the scanner code and log on to the platform once. Please check it out. Take the feel of how the platform looks like. While we, my colleague would be sharing his screen, and we take you through the entire platform now. As you can see, this is where the sign-in begins from. Uh, the sign-in process is visible. The sign-in tab is visible on the right side of the website itself, which directs you to the platform. And once you've signed up, the sign up option will pop up. Once you've signed up and logged in on the platform after subscribing and filling up your KYC, you will now be taken up to your dashboard. It's a dynamic dashboard which displays all the activities that you take up during your journey on the platform by placing in new transactions. As you click on the new transaction tab, which is where exactly you start your journey on the platform, you will see a whole host of in fact a suite of all the arrangements of all the transactions that we take care of. We keep on adding to this suite as we extend our services. So confirmation, discounting, refinancing, bankers acceptance, counter guarantees against bank guarantees, and bill levelization are the core products that we look after on the platform itself. Moving on, there are a few details that you need to key in with regards to the applicant, the beneficiary details, the product details of when would the LC be negotiated, when would it be issued. These dates could be could be tentative in nature, so that once you've actually filled in all the details and the process of matchmaking starts, you will be able to also edit these details. Once you click on the select country tab and you select any particular country, say for example Iceland or India, or Kenya, and you hover over this I button, you will be able to see how many banks could participate in this particular transaction. And so here you can see, again, this particular platform being our test environment, you can see that there are 34 banks available for the country that you have selected. As we move on, we're now supposed to project or showcase the tenor of the LC, and then move forward to the other details, wherein we key in the port of loading, the port of discharge, and all the product details. You also key in by when would you be required to get the quotes on this particular LC. And this is exactly how we take care of your requirements per se, with regards to in how many days would you want it to be discounted. Now, moving on forward, again, we have taken care of ESG requirements, and ESG compliant transactions are encouraged throughout, and this is exactly why the tab is there. Once you have saved and previewed the entire transaction, the transaction moves to the active transaction queue, which is again interesting, where you can see all your transaction details and in a nutshell. And this is exactly where you will now your work as a customer is over of sharing in all the details about your transaction. It starts this is exactly where the matchmaking engine starts functioning, and your transaction is now visible to all those participating banks. They start flowing in, the quotes will start flowing in, and this is the real time change that you will keep on seeing. You'll be able to see all the quotes that are being placed by the banks, and again, this being a test environment, you are able to see different numbers. So transaction ID is available, details about the banks are available, and the total quote value is available. Once you click on that value, you also get to see the breakup of the quote, what kind of charges are being charged by the bank, and that is exactly how you can also compare between these banks per se. Moving on forward, you can also now accept a particular quote, and once you've accepted a quote, you will your transaction would then flow to the transaction details tab. You would get the details of the bank on your email as well, and also will be able to see it on this screen. All these accepted, expired, and available transactions are available on your transaction details tab. Once you have all the details and everything, the MIS is also available. You can automatically download the MIS at each stage. And at each stage that you submit, preview, or finalize any step that you have done, you will be able to you will be able to download these MIS, and at the same time you get a notification every time on your email ID. And that is how the system transparency is. Being a web based platform, you will be able to see everything online on real time basis, and at the same time each email notification will be available to you at your disposal on your email, on your official email ID. So there are various other features like adding your subsidiaries, adding your group companies, and placing transactions on behalf of them. There would also be various credits which are given to you depending upon the kind of plan you choose. And that is how the platform functions. It's a very, very user friendly interface. And we would like you again, Aman, if you could just take us. Yeah, so this is the dashboard. You're able to see what kind of transactions you have been doing, and what all is available at your disposal while you're doing these transactions. So this is more about the platform. Of course, if you want to know more about us and want to take a detailed demo, or want to know in detail about us, we would be happy to share all the information. I've also shared my shared the coordinates up there. I'll put up my screen again for you all to be able to log on and check out the platform yourself and do the sign in process. I hope the scanner is available for is now at your. I hope the scanner is visible now.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can try scanning, and I hope you're able to scan, and we're able to see you on the platform and welcome you there. So as I always say on a parting note, I know that we welcomed you to 360 TF today, that we have introduced you to it, and we would like to take this journey ahead with you. And anything that is available or anything that you would like to know from us, we would be happy to help and cater to all your requirements. So looking forward to having most of you onboarded on the platform today.
Thanks, Himakshi. And Mr. Same, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Pankaj. Such an informative presentation, actually, that gave us a lot of information about trade finance, and that will definitely really help in understanding and learning more about the digitization in trade finance and the way forward. I would like also to thank our audience for attending this webinar. If you have further questions, feel free to contact Ms. Binita Shah and myself, of course, and Mr. Pankaj. And thank you so much for your time.